Going back into another edition of Beer Reviews with Nutmeg 2 Palmetto. Not coming to you from my Midland studio, coming to you from the brewing facility.
At Firemaker Brewing.
Firemaker Brewing Company with All-Star Firemaker John.
It's really good to be here, guys. Thank you, man.
We previously spoke for the podcast I'm a part of the Upstate Beer Boys at the Georgia Brewers Guild Festival at Atlantic Station. And that was back in April, so why don't you tell the viewers what's new with Firemaker in the 4 months since?
Yeah, man, a little state of the union. Let's see, since then we've effectively doubled our production capacity. We got a whole new forest of stainless steel in here, so now we can not only fulfill the market demand for our year-round beers like Hazed and Blaze, but we can also start getting limited releases like that Close But No Guitar out into the market. We have a lot more room to play around now that we can sort of fulfill that baseline needs with the new tanks. So that's been really cool. We've had a lot of opportunities to play around. We have some really cool styles on right now, like 2 wheat beers, which we've never even had on tap before. We've got a Belgian on tap right now, which we've never had before. And we have a California Common on, which I don't know that anyone else in town has one on tap right now.
Funny story. I did not know what those were, but 13 Stripes up in the Greenville area has a California Common, but unless you looked at it on Untapped, you wouldn't know it was California Common because it's described as a West Coast lager. So
that's interesting. I always kind of find it fascinating how important it is to brand your beer even within or without the typical style guidelines. Like our Oktoberfest that we're releasing at the end of August, it's called Fourth Down, and it's a Martin, but it's dry hopped with a noble German hop. So just to make it a little bit of IPA on the nose, a little sort of that stiff kind of resininess. But we called it an India Pale Lager because that way we can sell it before October 1st and after October 31st.
India Pale Lager, aka a cold IPA.
That's right. That's right. But you know, it's just interesting the way that people brand things when you don't necessarily want it to be called exactly what it is, just to kind of serve your purposes better and to make the beer more palatable to people. Because even before we drink with our noses, we drink with our eyes.
Now it's a big day here at Firemaker, and as you can hear in the background, the weather's not always cooperating. This is the Honahlee-Land Festival 2022, and as you just heard the thunder, it's not cooperating, and that's another reason why we're indoors. It's not just because of the festive environment and all the music. We don't want to get wet.
We really prefer not to. It seems like this is a tradition now, though, because last year it rained cats and dogs on us again, and so I think maybe it's a good sign. Maybe it would be a bad thing if it didn't rain.
If it didn't rain, you're like, oh no, this is an omen.
This is different. It's different than before. We're still having fun, though, huh?
Right. So this is an annual thing. Tell us a little bit more about Honahlee-Land. Obviously, anyone dials back their childhood days, if they grew up in a certain area, Honahlee is the land of Puff the Magic Dragon.
That's right.
So what's the story behind Firemaker's Honahlee-Land?
Sure, man. So as you said, and you're one of the first people I've heard to catch that today, and I'm sure plenty of people do know based on when they grew up, where they grew up. But
should I feel old?
No, not at all, not at all. No one's old. Age is just a number once it comes to maturity. That sounds so wrong to say, though. What I mean to say is that age is a state of mind, and youth is a state of mind.
Yeah.
I don't mean it in a weird way.
It's only a number on your driver's license.
Yeah. But Honahlee is where Puff the Magic Dragon goes every year to kind of escape. That's where he's from. And Honahlee-Land is where our dragon, Mungo, goes every year when he decides that he needs one day off of the year from making stuff happen, from making good beer, from just kind of all the stuff that Mungo does that makes him a Firemaker all year, tires him out. So once a year, one day a year, we come over to Honahlee-Land, and as a tribute to Puff the Magic Dragon, and that's where everyone can let loose and be their most authentic selves and kind of just have fun and escape.
I was trying to find Mungo, so that makes sense why I wasn't able to point him out.
That's exactly why. Yeah, he's off right now. You might just
on company PTO.
That's right. Boy, does he get paid better than anyone. He goes CEO, Mungo, everyone else.
Now, there's a special beer that's released today, and I previously spoke with Mikey B of At Party of Two Brew Crew, and I did not realize that is just a continuous release every year. I was under the impression that that was a new beer every year for each festival. So what's the story behind this beer?
So, I guess to be completely 100, it technically is a new beer from last year because it's a different brewer that we have brewing it. So last year it was way more pineapple forward. This year it's a little more well balanced. But
that's true. I didn't get too much pineapple.
Right. Last year it was like drinking pineapple juice with the dry hop, but this year it's a little more well balanced. But we just want it to be, and who knows what it's going to be next year. Honestly, I'm not sure if our brewer's going to change the recipe again or not. But the beer corresponds with the day, and so the beer is called Honahlee-Land, just like the festival is, and it's a special treat that you get once a year, kind of just like the day. We've got all kinds of mosaic hops in there to give you that big kind of rich juiciness, a touch of lactose to thicken the body, and it'll probably be in the same theme next year, I imagine, but there will probably be a tweak or two. We like to keep things fresh here.
Well, and I'll dig a little bit more on that mosaic attribute because I recently had a couple beers recently from the upstate that they're kind of like a sister pairing of beers, and one of them was strictly Citra, and the other one was strictly Mosaic.
Interesting.
And to me, they were similar enough where, so they've done 2 iterations of them, friend and foe series. The friend and foe 1, the friend and foe 2.
Single hop
from 13 Stripes, same place that did the West Coast Lager. And the overall taste I got from both of them in the 1 series was still a kind of hoppy bite to it, a bitterness. So I don't know, I don't know if maybe it's just my own palate or ignorance on my part, I don't know, but I always thought those 2 hops would have more of that juice profile that you described, but to me that's just not how they come off.
That's really interesting. So, as in my knowledge, and the way I learned it is that Mosaic is essentially Citra on steroids. It's your juicy kind of citrus. You add a little bit of orange pith to it, but typically it's going to be that way. My guess for those beers is that they were continually hopped. So basically, in the same way that the length of time that you steep a tea bag leads to the depth of flavor and the bitterness in that tea. Same with the coffee. If you leave it percolating over time, it's going to get really, really bitter. That's my guess, that they did the continuous hop cycle on it from the early additions in the boil, then down to the dry hop at the end, the late additions for the flavor, so the bittering hops and the flavoring hops, basically. My guess is that they skewed really heavily to the bittering hop side and those early additions, and so that draws out a lot more of those kind of alpha acids, and that gets you that kind of more resiny, piney, oily, hop oil, kind of dries out the mouth almost sensation. That's probably due to a lot of early, and again, think of it like a tea bag. They steep the hops for a way longer period of time, so that probably led those to be a lot more bitter.
So it's more of the individual brewer's technique as opposed to the hop itself.
Exactly, right. But that's really interesting. I'd love to try those beers too, because I'm the same way as you. If I hear Mosaic or Citra, I think juice bomb. I think citrus all the way through.
Right, and my thought was okay, maybe it's just a juice bomb when they're together. Maybe they're just complementary of each other. But I don't know. I'm not a brewer. I'm just dipshit number 1 doing a YouTube channel and Instagram.
I guess that makes me dipshit number 3 because I don't know much more than you do, brother.
Maybe that'll make you number 1. You work for a brewery, I don't.
I'm either the most dipshit or the lowest dipshit on the ladder. So either 1 or 3, whatever that is, I'm fine. I'm not mad about the dipshit pecking order. But all that to say, I think that's one of the things that's so cool about beer is even when you think that you know what's going to happen,
you don't know.
You have no idea. It's more like baking than cooking. It's such a science and such a tiny little degree of change at any measure, at any step of the way, can lead you to a completely different product. And I think that's kind of fascinating in a way.
So let's talk a little about you and your path here at Firemaker. When I met you, you introduced yourself as the lead bartender.
Yes, sir.
The all-star behind the taps.
Yes, sir.
And I come in here today, and you're manning the bar. But I believe whether it was on air or off there, you told us that you were trying to angle it with more sales.
Yes.
So, where's the path of John at Firemaker at?
So as of 2 weeks ago, I started my first once a week ride along with our sales team. So I'm gonna kind of get to see how they do it. I mean, we've had anywhere between a 1 to 3 person sales department as long as we've been around these past 2 years, and so there's only a few people that kind of make it happen here and do that action for us. And I've had the privilege of getting to go out with both of my sales reps over the past 2 weeks. I'm doing once a week, going out, hit some accounts, meet some people, learn how they do it, and hopefully, if I'm any good at it, like if say I'm better at doing beer sales than I am at podcast guesting, then maybe there'll be a spot for me on the sales team at the end of the year. But for now, I'm learning, I'm dipping a toe at a time. I get to stay here where I know, where I love, where I'm still needed. But now it's been put up the ladder and approved and every such kind of thing that we're gonna try to work our way in, and we have been. So it's feeling good, man.
Learning is good. Life is a constant learning cycle.
It has to be.
Now this is how reliable my brain is when I'm drinking several beers in a row. Guitar.
Close but no guitar.
Close but no guitar. So it's funny, there's a sour I tried that actually has the strawberry name.
Yep.
When I smelled this beer, this gives me more of that creamy strawberry type of aroma. So, and then
what are you getting on the palate?
a creamy juice.
Yeah.
Creamy juice. No one particular fruit note.
Sure.
Just a general type of creamy sense, juicy sense, no bitterness whatsoever.
Nice full body.
Nice, yeah. Oh, man, it's very full.
Right?
And as you can see by the color.
That comes from some caramel malt that we had in there.
Really?
That gives it that kind of deep orange, rich kind of color, and it gives it that sweet malty backbone to support all that juice, all that citrus. To me, and this is me, and I've drank that beer 1,000 times, so I probably am allowed to say more than you can say right now.
I'm not allowed to say anything.
He's not. I get a little stone fruit, like a little overripe kind of maybe nectarine, maybe a little bit of plum.
Okay.
And one of the notes that our brewer usually gives on it, and granted, this is an IPA, and this has been on tap for 3 weeks, so it's honestly even a completely different beer than it was 3 weeks ago, because that's just the nature of IPAs. But a little bit of white pineapple even, when it's super fresh, a little bit of kind of soft, tropical note, but again, you could just say tropical or stone fruit, you don't really need to narrow it down to any kind of fruits, but that beer's really cool too because it was a recipe from one of our sales reps named Ian. So he wrote that recipe, he had it for this band that he was supporting, and they had a problem in distribution getting it out to the venue, and that was maybe the first time we released it 6-8 months ago, but he made another run of it and he shipped this up to them at a show that they were doing, and they finally got to have their beer that our sales rep wrote the recipe for, and then this was kind of our one of our earlier forays into the package too, the 4 packs of 16-ounce cans.
Speaking of notes and fruit profiles, I don't know whether I haven't had a lot of sours from you. I've had a couple today. I've had the peach Chattahoochee in the past, and I've had the regular Chattahoochee at the festival back in April. Now, every sour, or I should say every sour and every beer I've had that has a fruity sour note or profile, I should say, is kind of like not your, I say not your father's sour, but
right.
Our fathers weren't drinking sours. They're not drinking sours now, so maybe it's not your brother's sour, not your older cousin's sour.
Right.
So, to me, like these sours are different. They have more of an iced tea type of mouthfeel and palate to them. So, what are you doing different here with sours as opposed to everyone else in the craft beer world? Whether they're tart, they're fruit blast, their smoothies, whatever the case may be. What are you doing different in your sours? Because your sours definitely taste a lot different, worlds different than any other sour.
Sure. So I think to begin with, we kind of, since we don't do sours all that often, every time that we run one, we really conceptualize what we want it to be. And so one of the sours that's on right now is kind of been a tap room sort of grassroots marketing kind of exposure, beta test, if you will. That's the secret sour number 2. That one was a strawberry and prickly pear sour. And the reason that was out was to serve as something light, bubbly, refreshing. It's Atlanta. It's very hot. That's what people are looking for.
Even when it's raining.
Even when it's raining, it manages to be hot. I don't know if this is sweat or rain right now. Okay. But so typically we're going for that lighter, more effervescent, bubbly, refreshing sour. And so the secret sour number 2 was our first foray into that. There was a secret sour number 1. That was the alpha test. And now the one that you had, the Strawberry Fields, will be our first of the Session Sour series that we are bringing to market in 6-packs moving forward.
Okay.
So we've really tinkered with it a lot, I guess, all that to say.
And even the same thing with the scales.
Scales and Tails, the sour IPA, that one is a really special beer.
Yeah.
Because I've had some really cool half a sour pour, half an IPA pour at like Steady Hand. They'll do that, or like other spots around town. But I've never had a brewed sour IPA, and I mean I'm just blown away by it. I wish I could even tell you what they do differently, but I don't. I just know this one tastes good. That's about the depth of my knowledge on how they brew it.
So, Strawberry Fields is a proverbial half an hour old, and it's the first sour to go to distro.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
It's really big. I mean, so we had maybe the most requested beer that I've ever had. When are you gonna bring this back? When are you gonna bring this back? When are you gonna bring this back? Is our cherry bake sale, which was a sweet cherry, tart cherry, and almost a cinnamon kind of mahlab. It's this Egyptian spice that tastes like cinnamon bread. We had this cherry pie sour last year, and that's maybe been the most requested beer of Wednesday's coming back. And so finally we were like, okay, we're gonna do a Session Sour series. And so this first release to kind of hit the market, after obviously testing and making sure that we brew sours that people love, because we don't want to put it out if people don't love it. We have the not secret sour, we have the Strawberry Fields. And so it's just really exciting that finally in an IPA dominant city, in an IPA dominant kind of lineup in our 6-packs, that we have that option on for people. We're so excited for it.
Right, because previously probably the only quote-unquote alternative option was the Chattahoochee.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And we have our Golden Ale, but that's still a beer-flavored beer, right? That doesn't give you that
more
fruit-forward
Yeah.
non-IPA. And some folks want fruit-forward and non-IPA.
Yeah.
And it feels really good to be able to say yes to that.
Hops are great. I love hops. You love hops.
Sure.
Not everyone loves hops.
Not everyone does, and there's a reason that they make a million different styles of beer, because everybody has different tastes. I mean, even in the finest of circles of fine dining and wine tasting, if you can put words to the flavor you're feeling, nobody can tell you that you're wrong. And so this is a very inclusive space, and for us to be able to finally, in the sphere of distribution, include more people and welcome them into the fold, like that's almost the best part about this beer, even despite the fact that the beer's good and I'm excited to have it. Just that more people have a safe place here to drink with us.
Right, John, I know you have many, many responsibilities here at Firemaker, so I don't want to keep you too long, but final words from yourself, from Firemaker, whatever the case may be, before we log off.
I've worked in the food and beverage industry a long time, and I've been a beer nerd for a long, long time, and if you're listening to this or watching this and you have a chance to make it into Firemaker Brewing in West Midtown Atlanta, do yourself a favor and check it out, because the beer's good, but beyond that, I mean, anybody can make good beer today. There's a lot of places in Atlanta that do. The beer's really great, but the service behind the bar, the dedication that my bartenders have to put something in your glass that they want to make sure that you love is all but unparalleled, and the dream that our CEO, Elliot, has to make a brewery that's a part of the community, that serves the folks around us and enriches our environment. This is it, man. We're still pretty early in. We opened during COVID, and we're only 2 years down now, and there's a lot of room to grow, even from a brand awareness perspective. But shoot, man, not for nothing, come out to Firemaker anytime y'all can. It's a good place, and we'll be happy to take care of you.
I will attest to that, because when I walked in, Elliot recognized me right off the bat. You recognized me right off the bat.
I forgot your name, but I recognized
You
your
did.
face.
Susanna recognized me right off the bat. But it's all, I don't know, maybe it's just this face, but you guys knew who I was. So the hospitality and humanity of your brand and the people behind your brand, it speaks volumes.
Thank you. We appreciate that. And that's all we really want, man, is to put good beer in the hands of good folks, and that's kind of the end of it,
Excellent. If you want more from me, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell to know exactly when my videos drop straight to you on your phone, mobile device, tablet, what have you. If you want to recommend a beer to me, or maybe even send me a beer, email me, nutmeg2palmetto@gmail.com. And if this on YouTube isn't enough, go ahead and follow me on my social media channels, TikTok and Instagram, @nutmeg2palmetto. And stay tuned for more videos and
bye, guys.
more for people like John.
We love you. Stay real.
Stay tuned for some sights and scenes from Honahlee-Land 2022.